All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about a subject that is quite literally about everything. It's about you, it's about me, it's about the tiniest microbe and the biggest forest. We are exploring the life sciences, the actual study of life itself.
So, right off the bat, I've got a huge question for you. When you look at an image like this, what do you see? What is the fundamental code of life? It's a massive mystery, and we're going to start unraveling it right now.
Yeah, that is a huge question, right? And believe it or not, it's exactly the kind of question that the life sciences are built to answer. So to get there, we first need to figure out what this subject is all about. Let's get into it.
At its heart, the name life sciences is actually pretty simple. You've got two big ideas stuck together. First, life, and that means everything that lives, from the molecules buzzing around inside your cells to entire ecosystems. And then you have science, which is just the powerful method, the toolbox we use to understand all that living stuff.
But here's the cool thing about the science part. It's not just some dusty old book of facts. No way. It's this living, breathing process with two main goals. One, to add to what we already know, and two, the really exciting part, to discover things that are completely new. It's always moving forward.
Okay, so we've covered the what, but now for the big one, the why. Why should you care? I mean, really, what's in it for you when you decide to study life itself?
Well, it turns out the benefits are huge, and they kind of split into two main buckets. On one side, you get practical skills that you'll use in your everyday life, and on the other, you open up all these doors to some really amazing future careers.
Let's talk about those everyday skills first, because this is stuff you can use no matter what you end up doing. You learn how to think critically, how to actually solve problems. You'll be able to look at scientific issues in the news and make sense of them, understand cool new tech, and just become a more responsible citizen of this planet. I mean, these are skills for life, plain and simple.
And okay, what about your future career? Well, this is where it gets really exciting. Life sciences gives you the foundation for some of the most important fields out there. We're talking everything from microbiology and genetics to digging up dinosaurs and paleontology, or even pioneering new forms of genetic engineering. The possibilities are just endless.
All right, so we get what it is and we get why it matters, but how does it all work? Like, what's in the scientist's toolkit that you'll be using to figure all this stuff out?
It basically comes down to three main things, a three-step process to get you there. First, you gotta know the content, that's your theory. Second, you get to actually do investigations, the practical, hands-on part. And third, you connect it all to the real world by understanding its applications.
So that first aim, knowing the content. This is so much more than just cramming a bunch of facts for a test. It's about seeing the big picture, right? Understanding how all these amazing ideas actually connect to each other.
And then you get to my favorite part, actually doing the investigations. This is where you roll up your sleeves and see science in action. You become the scientist, making your own observations, gathering your own data, and seeing it all come to life.
And check this out. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Observation can mean peering through a microscope, like on the left, and discovering this hidden, intricate world inside a single plant cell. But it can also mean stepping back and just appreciating the beautiful, complex patterns of a whole organism, like this plant on the right. It's about seeing the world on every single scale.
Okay, we've talked about the what, the why, and the how. Now, let's bring it all back to that huge question from the beginning. Let's take a quick peek at one of the most mind-blowing topics in all of life sciences, DNA.
So if you want to understand DNA, you have to start small, really small, with its basic building block. It's called a nucleotide. Just think of it like a single Lego brick, and each little brick has just three parts, a phosphate, a sugar, and something called a base.
Okay, but here is where things get wild. You take millions and millions of these tiny little blocks, and they link up into these incredibly long chains. Get this, the DNA in just one of your cells, if you could stretch it all the way out, would be about 2 meters long. And these chains, they don't just hang out.
They twist around each other, forming that famous, iconic double helix. So when we look at this image again, we realize it's not just some cool-looking shape. This is it. This is the blueprint for every living thing we know of. It is the code of life we asked about at the very beginning. Absolutely incredible.
So think about that journey for a second. We went from a single tiny building block all the way to the master blueprint of life itself. From skills you can use tomorrow to careers you could build for a lifetime. This isn't just some abstract subject. It's a world of discovery, and it's all about you.
So at the end of the day, just remember this. Life sciences isn't another subject in a textbook. It's literally the story of us. It's the story of life on this planet. And that just leaves one final question for you. What's your chapter going to be?